All right. Pathfinders Night, right? That's the theme song from Karate Kid. You're the best. What better? That's not the best. What better song on a night titled Chasing Excellence? Yeah. So before I get started real quick, I just want to honor my wife. Singing on that. She really kind of makes me the man I am. Really kind of this is my jet fuel, and it is the jet fuel, and I feel like I need to always keep chasing excellence to continue to clean the house and adjust the stands. There we go. It's kind of like don't want to hide behind it, stand off to one side. But yeah, so get started after I honor my wife. I love you, baby. So before I get into my 4 points for tonight, and before I got started, I just wanted to kind of introduce myself a little bit to you. You know, my name is Lou Yerdell, and I was saved by grace in 2016. It was a big time for me at that time. At that time, I know I stopped believing in anything that was a coincidence. Everything that happened to me, whether it was good or bad, I knew it was a direct action of God for a direct purpose. If there was something bad that happened, I knew there was something on the horizon that was going to be something better. Every single little thing that happens is His action in my life, and I can't shy away from that when I'm talking about my business success, because I feel that every ounce of my business success comes from God. And it's no secret that right now we're in this spiritual war. And if you're a Christian, which we all are, we're awakened people, we're Jesus people here. The evil side, they're trying to attack us. And what way do they attack us? They try to destroy our business, they try to destroy everything we have. If you're not a Christian, oof. Boy, I don't want to be in that boat. It's no surprise, in the last 2 years, churches have been under attack. Our small business has been under attack. We've been hammered. We keep getting hammered now with inflation, supplies. I know t-shirt companies that ink is up, shirts are up. Everyone's getting hammered by it. But capital corporate giants are making money hand over fist. They're getting record profits. You know who's running that? That ain't Jesus. You know, and the war, it comes after your joy, it comes after your happiness, it comes after your business, it comes after your family, and it just keeps hammering and hammering and hammering on you. And that's when you got to really dig in deep. What I had to dig in deep, and that's when my faith keeps coming back to me. And you know, over the years, I referred to myself as a jack of all trades. You heard a few things about me when you got introduced. I was a lawyer. I graduated law school, passed the bar in 2 states. I have a master's degree in biomechanics. I have an undergraduate degree in history and criminal justice. I'm very fluent with Adobe programming languages, Premiere, Photoshop. I can build a PC from scratch, just give me the parts. I am a nutritionist. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a personal trainer. I have 6 certifications. So, you know, I mention those because, you know, I use that term, jack of all trades, master of none. You see, that term's been used against me a lot. More times than I can count, people say, oh, you're just a jack of all trades. You're not a master. Why are you even talking about this right now? And it's funny they mention that because, you know, I feel it's true. But that expression, it goes on to something else. It's not the full expression. It's jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. That expression is never meant as an insult. It was always meant to be a compliment. So in 2017, I opened Metroflex Gym. It's probably not what I'm most well known for. I'm most well known for reopening my gym in 2020 against the Peruvian order passed by Governor Mussolini. Or the speeches I gave to San Diego County Board of Supervisors, different school boards I've been to, standing up against the mandates, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday night stuff, right? Oh, and at pronoun day at the County Board of Supervisors, when I introduced myself with my pronoun, patriot. That gives you a little idea of of kind of who I am. But let's get into chasing excellence. And my first point, you're the best. We got slides? We got slides? You're the best. Do we have slides? No slides? Okay, so no slides. But on that slide was a picture of Karate Kid, Daniel LaRusso, and Crane Kid getting ready to fight in the final fight. Two-time All-Valley champion. Who's better than Daniel LaRusso, right? Karate. So, exactly. So, how did Metro Flex Gym become the absolute best gym of anywhere in all lands? I said it. We're the best gym. 100% fact, I know we're the best gym. How do I know? Well, in 2019, we did win an award that was titled Best Gym. And we would have won that award in 2020 and 2021 if it weren't for the Kens and Karens in this one-star reviews about how we were killing people and being murderers and being irresponsible. Pro tip, you can get one-star reviews removed if they leave any data on there that has nothing to do with your business. So if they just talk about your politics, you can get that removed. So keep that in mind if you're a business owner who likes to talk politics like this guy. A lot of people get awards though, right? They don't necessarily mean you're the best because you win an award. And there's that old expression too. It's an expression, I call it a limiting expression, like, well, there's always someone better than you. There's always someone out there bigger and badder than you are. Nope. I don't believe that. Someone has got to be the absolute best. Someone's got to be the baddest dude in the room. Just as bad as you want to go. You know that song? That's the mentality that you have to have. That's the mentality I've always had about my business. Because you can't fake excellence. It's not something you can put on. You can't go rent a car. You can't put a jacket on and say my excellence jacket. It's not built from the outside in, it's built from the inside out. You can see it on every single person. You see someone that's excellent. How they walk, how they talk, how they carry themselves. You can spot it from a mile away. And if that excellence isn't even something you can own, you lease it. And the payment's due every day. You don't put that payment in, your excellence is going to go delinquent. And one thing that I know is that excellence is 100% required for you to achieve your dream. If you don't have it, your dream's not going to be nearly as good as it could be. What did I do to be the best? I mean, I have the best mentality, but what did I do in my gym? Like, what were the specifics behind it? Well, I was unique. I created a unique gym atmosphere, something like the 80s and 90s that you don't really see anymore. It was like a big gym band. You come in there, and everyone's friendly, everyone knows each other. There's no cliques, there's no judgments. I have huge banners on the wall of bodybuilders, and below them I have biblical quotes. My favorite, they're called scriptures, I guess. I'm not a preacher, so, the scripture on the bottom of them. And in a place I had serious equipment for serious people that wanted to work out, wanted to train. People would come in there, we'd be sitting on their cell phones, texting, be coming there to get a workout, and that atmosphere was spread around. Most days I pray a hedge of protection over my gym, so people come in, they're like, I don't know what it is about this place. I come in here, I feel so calm, I feel so peaceful. And I leave, I get all nervous again. I know that's because Jesus watching. You can say, we're basically an anti-corporate gym. I probably could have just led with that and said we're anti-corporate gym, but we go by names, not numbers. But, even the hardcore gyms like us, we call ourselves hardcore because we're not corporate. Even the hardcore gyms are cliquey. You go in there and they have the little cliques, the little trainers, the little groups. The chit-chat. And our gym, you come and thrive and be good. You feel comfortable. And that's really what we do. That's the foundation of what MetroFlex is. I made a lot of mistakes too in my life. In fact, I say I've lost way more times than I've ever won. Way more times. But I've always learned from my mistakes and moved forward. The evil people in the world and people out there that want to try and hold you back will say, oh, you're making mistakes, you're going to fail. The more mistakes you made equals more fail. 20 mistakes, well, that's a failure. I'm not like that. I'm saying if you're not making mistakes, you're not playing the game hard enough, baby. You stop playing the game. Can't get in the game, can't make mistakes. You need Tom Brady. Those picks. You see, God put me in these positions, and I acted on them. And don't get me wrong, faith is really what built me. But you can't just have faith. I know some of the most faithful people probably in the world that are homeless, begging on the streets. So it's faith, plus hard work, which includes the stuff I talked about, being unique, the hustle, rising above, equals excellence, equals success, equals the best. And that's really the mentality of being the best, and kind of show you kind of the steps I've gone through to be the best. Which brings me to my second point. Be the Pathfinder you are. And if I were to point at a slide, it'd be a picture of Mr. Miyagi. Why Mr. Miyagi in the slide? Why is he the Pathfinder? Well, because Miyagi-Do karate is something that you learn. And then when you teach it to someone else, they learn their version of Miyagi-Do karate. And when they teach it to their student, they use that Miyagi-Do foundation and use their own version of Miyagi-Do karate. So it's unique and different each time, but it's still a foundations in Miyagi-Do karate, which makes it so great. That's why Miyagi-Do, Mr. Miyagi, was the Pathfinder on this slide. So, Pathfinder means trailblazer. It means you're finding a path. You're finding a path. You're not walking down a path that's already there. You're creating a new path so no one ever been down, so we know where they're going. And I feel it's the vital aspect. You can't just go where someone else has been and be a Pathfinder. I'm not telling you you got to reinvent the wheel, right? But you do have to bring something that no one else has. You have to have that je ne sais quoi. That certain something, that unique something. Someone else that's actually sitting here, JD, has that. Take my gym, right? I built my dream gym. And it was the equipment that I wanted for my perfect workout, right? I didn't care what anyone else wanted. I built my gym for me. The workouts that I want to have every day. We see this a lot of times with artists, musical artists. They're like, they completely suck, right? They get any play, and what happened? Well, I was making music I thought people liked, and then I started making music I liked, and everyone loved it, right? Because it came from them, it was authentic. My gym's authentic because it's coming from me. It's equipment that I like, and stuff that I knew I liked. I didn't try to cater to other people. A lot of equipment I have, you can't get anywhere else. No one's going to buy it. These corporate gyms aren't going to buy it. They all have contracts to buy the Life Fitness, Rocket stuff. And I did this because when I asked God, and I prayed to God, He said, build your dream gym. So I did. And it's easy to stick to the norm. It's easy to be average and do what everyone else is doing and be safe. But safe doesn't get you to marry the homecoming queen. Or in my case, one of the top physique athletes in the world. The equipment I load at my gym is a big part of it. You can ask any member that comes there. Some people came just on a day pass to train legs, and they were still blown away by our 4,000 square foot leg area. And they bought a membership. And then they saw our chest and back stuff. They didn't even notice that was there. And the equipment brings people in. And someone that's not in the gym industry trying to get to open the gym, they would have stayed in their lane, right? They would have done what everyone else has done. They would have done the corporate thing, get the corporate stuff, make sure they have all the right stuff. Or they would have got fancy, went too pretty with it, and completely fell off the tracks. My being involved in gyms over the past 2 decades, in the bodybuilding world, I traveled the world covering bodybuilding shows. I used to actually be a correspondent for Muscular Development, RX Muscle, and interviewing top bodybuilders around the world. And when we traveled, I'd go to these different gyms, gyms built for bodybuilders. And the thing is, a lot of these people that open gyms, they fail because they try to follow a corporate pattern, they try to follow what other people have done. And if I'm being completely frank with you right now, that's why a lot of businesses are mediocre. Wow. They just get by, or they fail completely. There's nothing different about it. I mean, think about if you have a business right now, or you know people have businesses, if you do the same thing that 10 other businesses are doing, why am I going to you? I got a good smile. Might get like 1 or 2 people. But why is people going to keep coming to your business? What do you do that's different? What sets you apart? You know, what path have you blazed to set you apart from everyone else? So I made a deal with God, right? I made a deal. You know, as much as you can make a deal. And I said, I told God, you know, the purpose of my gym isn't to make money or to be popular or to be like the coolest guy, the most swole guy. No. The purpose, the top purpose of my gym was for me to testify to God, to testify of what God can do, how someone can come from a really low place of sin and pain and know success through Christ. And I fulfilled that promise every single time that someone came in and asked me, well, you know, why'd you open this gym? Why did you start this business? And I always respond with, I was saved by grace in 2016. Which is how I started this presentation tonight. And believe me, since we opened in 2017, I've had about 20% of the people that come through our gym ask me that question. A lot of people come to my doors to ask that, right? Deal's a deal. You know, the first few times I did it was kind of daunting. You know what this guy's thinking? We're going to walk out of here, get raised, and get Christian-y, right? But I feel a huge reason of success is because I did that. And there's a lot of people who are now come to Christ because of that. I don't know if you know, there's a guy who came in the second day we were doing pre-sales, and he came in, and he said, you know, why are you doing the gym? I told him, he's like, he was Buddhist. He says, but I really like this. You're getting stuff back. You're getting all this stuff back from God. I'm not getting anything back from Buddha. And he has since given his life to Christ, and he now owns one of the most popular cookie companies around. Like, you know, Mama's Boy Cookies. That's him. And he's super successful now. I mean, if you think about it, my gym, if it was a unique place, when I reopened during the pandemic, a lot of people came to my gym out of convenience. Because, well, I was like one of the only gyms open in Southern California. Right? Yeah, I didn't have to be different. I could have had some dumbbells for people to come in. But when everyone reopened, people stuck around. Right? They stuck around, you know, because they liked it. They got the message. They liked what they had here. They liked the guy that stood up. And the gym was so different. It's funny. It's funny because I remember January 2020, I prayed to God. I was like, God, I need, this is going to sound so bad. I need to find a way in the market to get people from LA Fitness and 24-hour fitness to come to my gym and try it out. They wanted to come try it out, right? So I feel like COVID-19 was God's way of marketing my gym. And getting people to come because, you know, they had to go there going on open. But in order for that testimony to work, right, God had to also follow through and make me a successful Christian. Right? Because, you know, what's the luring about a miserable Christian? You know? Be a successful Christian, you're like, oh, you came to Christ, you got this, you know, new truck, blah, blah, blah. I love it. This is something I want to hear about what you did. So tell me that Christ, I can't pay my bills. You know, I'm horrible all the time. Everything's going downhill and can't fix the equipment. Wow, sounds like a great God to me. You know? Without God in my faith, you know, making that happen, my business wouldn't have been a shadow of what it was without him. And he had to come through on the successful component in order for the testimony to work. Because people see you, they see you're happy, they see your joy, they see your success, and they want to know a little bit about it. You tell us Christ and they back up when a seed got planted. And that's what it's all about for me. That's the purpose of my business. The secondary side effect is the money. The side effect is the success. The purpose is to testify to God's greatness. Now we're getting into the next section. Do what others won't do. You ever see Daniel Russo? You guys watched that movie? You know, he's like wax off, do a lot of stuff, crane kicking on the beach on a pole, bust mice, see all that. But he did what others didn't do. That's why he won the All Battle. They weren't training like he did. They didn't put the grit, they didn't put the grind, they didn't put the drive in. Right? But in a general sense in life, no one's going to believe in you until you've already done it. Wow. Or not. No one's going to celebrate with you until you've already done it. Like I said before, there's no faking success. In fact, people are going to say what you're doing is wrong, it's hurting people, it's wasting time. All that means is you're going to be working a long time with no one patting you in your back, no accolades, no trophies, a lot of 90, 100-hour weeks, no one telling you how awesome you are. You just spend a lot of time being weird. Yep. Weird. It's okay to be weird. You see, that's just the word that victims and poor me's made up to describe people who be world beaters. Oh man, the pandemic. Pandemic 2020 came, right? Businesses closed down. 2 weeks to do whatever the heck they were doing. I don't know. Everyone closed down. I did too. I didn't want to, but I did. Why? Because everyone else was doing it. See what I did there? I failed. I didn't listen to what God was putting on my heart. I listened to what man was putting in my head. I gave into the fear. Fear gripped everyone. The enemy gripped everyone. Wow, he got invented, didn't he? Snuck right in. Kicked our churches out, kicked everything out. How long did it take him to do that? Decades. Slowly taking over the government, putting people into place, taking over state legislatures, so he could hit us with something we've never been hit with before. It was easy a thief in the night comes and shatters a window and steals something. Oh, that was the devil trying to. But this is something much more nefarious, right? Using earthly powers to speak to us into submission, put you in jail. That's not God's language. It's not what God does. You know, I can tell you I made a mistake not leaning to God and not listening to God and not trying to pay attention to God. But it's a mistake I've never made ever again on that front my entire life after that. You know, I stayed close until I went to God. And the actual prayer I said was, God, should I open up? Am I going to hurt people? Should I fight against what I know is wrong? Tell me what to do, God, and I will follow. You know, I sent that prayer out when Mussolini said he was going to extend the lockdown through April. And there are rumors that keep going beyond that. And there's no clear date to reopen. And it was clear. The state didn't have a plan to reopen. The state didn't care about businesses. Clearly, they made rent moratoriums for residential people, but my rent was still due for my commercial property. Didn't care about us. Didn't give us any slack. You know? I felt lied to. Bamboozled. I felt hornswoggled. You know? And I know God was sending calls out. God sends calls out for you to follow, right? You send calls out to a lot of people at that time to stand against this evil. Not many people answered. I don't think many people answered at all. I know this because there weren't any businesses open. If there were businesses open, I know the people who answered the call. There's a couple. No one really stood up though. Even the churches at the beginning. That's how I know. There's people that said they were open. There were other gyms. Oh, bro, we never closed the whole time. Screw Gavin Newsom, we was open the whole time. Sneaking people in our back door, you know, people come work out. That's not open. That's not open. That's what communist country people do. That's what they get Nazi Germans stuck in the back door. That's not freedom. That's not the United States. these people out, right? You know, and I remember before we opened, that Bible verse, Romans 8:31. What then shall we say in response to these things? God is for us. Who could be against us? I was like, who's against us? These people going to do to me? What are these people going to do to me if I don't listen to God? Because, God did answer that prayer. And he said, open your gym. Don't close no matter what. I don't care if you get arrested, fined, if they take everything away, you don't close those doors. I got your back. And I heard that over and over again, I got your back. It was resounding in my head. It wasn't like maybe a feeling. It was a resounding voice in my head that said that. Without a shadow of a doubt. Talk about being under the gun financially. We had lost about 1/3 of my members up to that point. People canceled. My calculations, the next 30 days, we would have been kaputski. All the hemorrhaging would be too great. We wouldn't be able to recover from that. This was my dream, right? This is a dream me and God are building. They're going to try and kill that? We're not a burger shop. Burger shop reopens, people come back and start sitting down eating their burger again. We're a gym. People move on, they build home gyms, they lose faith in the system. We reopen, when everyone else reopens, they're going to go to the closest gym and just move on to that. So, let me tell you something. You guys in here, who's all made business plans? You guys have written a business plan? How many people in their business plan for 6 months of zero income? Do you do that? You plan your business plan like that? Maybe some people. The business making income. Maybe not you making income. I have like 2 or 3 years of me not making income. The business not making income. Maybe 30% or 50%. But that's zero? Who do these people think they are? And why should I have to take a loan out? I don't need a loan. My business is doing fine before you guys shut me down. Now I need to take a loan? So we opened. I didn't go nuts with it. I made a simple social media post. We got a lot of traffic. Do we have a video or is that not a... Oh, we got a video. Cool. My fellow Metroflexers. Been teasing about it for a little while. Been talking about it. The Flex will be opening this Friday at 8 a.m. There'll be some guidelines posted a little later. I'm going to send an email to the members. But, yeah. We're reopening the Flex. I'll state my reasons and everything why I'm doing that later. But come out and show your support. Let's do it. Let's do it, right? Yep, that was it. I had first planned to put like a 6 or 7 minute video up going all this stuff, but I said, no one's gonna watch a 6 or 7 minute video. But they probably would have. Now, back then I thought, nah. And when we first opened, so many people came up to me. I got hug after hug. People just lining up, hugging me, and they're telling me like, hey, I'm a veteran, I have PTSD. This is how I handle my issues. So I worked out this gym atmosphere. I can't just go for a walk on a trail and get that same thing. I had former drug addicts say that this is what their new addiction was, and they were getting ready to go back to the needle. After coming off years of these last few years of the highest rate of death of drug overdoses, that hit me. I had a war vet come in. I had a war vet come in, his wife had committed suicide. And he said that the opening the gym is what saved his life. Yeah, I knew right then I wasn't glad. And that all happened in the first hour. So I knew right then, I'm not closing down. We're just gonna ride this train all the way through. Because I knew that, God's showing me here's why you're doing it. Here's the good behind what you're doing. It wasn't just for money or whatever that. 2 days after I opened, I got arrested, handcuffed, taken to jail. There you are! They're about 6 feet tall. They sent Wilt Chamberlain's son out to, you guys couldn't send a shortcut? The guy that issued the order was like this tall. Can we get him in the photo with me? Yeah. That was a fun time. My wife actually passed me on the way to the station. She saw me in the back of the squad car. Couldn't wave because I was handcuffed. They told me I would be arrested every single day, that I continue to stay open. And after I was arrested enough, code enforcement would pull my license and they'd take my business away from me. Getting close. For that, I was interviewed by about every news station you could possibly imagine. Local, nationally syndicated, Daily Wire, OANN, Fox News with Bill Hemmer. I got verified on Instagram because of it, because I was newsworthy. You know? Depending on what side of the fence you're sitting on, it was either popular or it was infamous. Depending on how you felt about freedom. You like freedom, I'm your guy. And you know what? The funny thing is, I can't sit here and like take a lot of these kudos because I just wanted to open my gym, right? I didn't want to be this person that was speaking up. I didn't want to be politically vocal. I didn't want to be on TV. The national news, the Tribune, leftist writers twisting my words. I just wanted to be left alone and to run my business. But they wouldn't let me. I got thrust into the media spotlight and put in a position where I had to speak up. I was asleep, I was subtle, and I was harmless. And they woke the lion. I didn't start this fire, baby, baby! I was put in a position to do something. To do something others won't do. To do something others won't do. So I stayed open. And being almost the only gym in Southern California that was open, membership soared. I had people driving from Pasadena to Los Angeles. To this date, I still have members from Los Angeles that drive down because of their loyalty to what I did. How high the memberships go, you heard. Before that, it was below 400. Went up over 1,500. We're still right around that point right now. But I got constant harassment. You know, we had visits daily by police, sometimes 2-3 times a day. Sometimes county health inspectors came out. Police didn't want to be a part of it. The police, you know, they came out because if they didn't, it'd go higher up the chain. So they had to come out, but it was still trifling because every Karen and Ken out there were calling to save humanity. You know, I remember one time where I was standing outside, you know, and someone threw a beer bottle, something at me, horrible aim. I think where it landed confused me more than someone throwing it at me. And I said, "You should be closed down. You shouldn't be out here." We were actually building an outdoor structure because we could, and I wanted to get an extra 1,000 square feet. And I'm like, she goes, "You should be taking over the parking lot." I'm like, "This is your fault. This is all you. I'm in this parking lot because of you." Yeah, and I got death threats too. Emails, letters, news articles left on my door. The cool part was when the Union Tribune published the address of the gym as my home address. That was awesome. And then when they retracted it, they said that was his home address. Here's his gym address. So I got whack jobs sending me emails and stuff and letters to my home and my work. Thank you, Tribune. I'll never interview with you ever again. The second lockdown was when it got dicey, right? We got cease and desist orders, media closure orders, which, that's funny, but I'll tell you about that in a second. Citations, I could actually probably make some ugly wallpaper with all the paper, the trees they killed, sending me this stuff. I remember my first media closure order I got, it must have been written by some nitwit who has no legal background, and I looked at it and I said, "It says a media closure order, it doesn't say when I can reopen." You're like, "Oh yeah, you can't reopen until when?" She said, "Well, it doesn't say. It doesn't say on here." And at the time, my hours were 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and she delivered to me at 8 p.m. I said, "Well, I'm closing right now, immediately. I'm reopening at 6 a.m. tomorrow." A lot of business owners ask me, "How are you doing? How are you staying open like this?" I told them, you just open, you get citations, you get punched in the face. Metaphorically, I never got punched in the face. Like, oh, no, I don't want to get a fine. I don't want to get punched in the face, metaphorically. I'm like, cool. Then stay closed. Leave excellence to those of us who will do it. Those of us not bound by fear, not gripped by the enemy. I mean, at one point, they were threatening me with 13 criminal citations. Possible daily fines every day I stayed open. But we got inventive. See, we had a doctor of physical therapy who was a member, and she wrote 1,500 preventative workouts for all of our members. And essentially, we were essential. And they said, is the physical therapist there with them and working out with them all the time? And all 1,500 members have a physical therapist? I'm like, it's odd that the order in California doesn't say that. It just says you need to have a physical therapy. It doesn't say the guy has to be with them. I didn't write your order, you guys did. But it was nuts. It was nuts. These business owners, they'd ask me, eventually I just say, just open. Just open your business. Just open your business. Just open your business. They'd say to me, oh, it's not that simple. Not that simple. I've heard that a lot in my life. I've said it to myself. That's not that simple. But that's the biggest lie, isn't it? Yes. Isn't that, it applies to every single thing you do. It may seem difficult. It may seem scary. It may seem rough. It may try to block you from achieving your goals. But it's not that simple. It is that simple. It may not be easy. It may be daunting. But it is that simple. Because once you do it, it's done. It's the most simple thing in life, actually, to just do it. It was just simple to open my doors, right? It was just simple to follow my instincts of what equipment to buy, to attract the right clients to my gym. It was just simple to use my history in the bodybuilding industry, the travels around the world, to know how to set up a 24-hour keep-off system so people can enter the gym anytime they want. It's that simple to be a success you want to be. Because it's a matter of you do it, and it's done. If you don't do it, it's not done. Wow. And that's it. Do what others won't do. It's just that simple. Just to do it. You gotta find out what it is and just do it. Now, going on to my next one. Haters gonna hate. Cobra Kai! We're the bigger haters than Cobra Kai, right? Beating up poor Daniel, beating him up at the Halloween party, beating him up on the beach. Trying to beat him up at the tournament, but they got their butts kicked. What's a hater's favorite word? What's a hater's favorite word? Just interact with you guys and give me can't! Can't, won't, can't. That's the favorite word, they love it. I absolutely love the word can't. Can't's probably one of the most motivating words you can tell me. Everybody says, you go to these motivational, don't say the word can't here, don't say can't, it's negative. Negative for you, positive for Lou. It lights a fire in my blood. Oh, they say, you're never going to make it through law school. I did. Lou, you're never going to pass the bar. I passed 2 bars. You're never getting an athletic scholarship to college. Yeah, I did. Went to national school. You're never going to make that gym work. Well, not only did I make that gym work, but I'm the best. I've lost a lot of friends over the years, too. Especially the last few years. What's the expression? Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. That's it, right? You see, we need steel around us. Yeah, I do. You do too. That's what happens. Iron sharpens iron. Iron clanging against iron gets sharpened. Right? So you get the wrong people around you, it's like iron and wood. The iron bangs against the wood, the iron gets stolen, the wood breaks. That's why God said iron sharpens iron. just make that up. You just pull it out of somewhere. You gotta expect to lose people in your life. I've lost friends and family I've had, friends over 2 decades long. I've lost family that I don't really talk to anymore. I remember a news article, or news interview I did with NBC. I no longer interview with them anymore. And they asked me about other gym owners. Other gym owners were upset with me. They interviewed me. And these other gym owners were upset because they couldn't have their gym open inside. They felt. And they were forced to build these expensive $30,000, $40,000 canopies outside. They had their bikes, their equipment outside. And they had limited capacity. They couldn't get the same number of people, so they couldn't make the same money I was making. Their equipment was getting hammered by the weather. My equipment was safe inside. And I could just load people in, and they couldn't. Right? And they called me selfish and arrogant. And I sat there, I'm like, selfish and arrogant? I've heard those words before, right? But they're used against me now. And in a particular way, I was selfish because I was keeping my business up. Putting people's lives in danger just to make money. I was selfish, right? And I was arrogant because they felt that I somehow believed I was above the law. And I felt I was better than all the other gyms. Half right. I am better than all the other gyms. Arrogance. Do you know what arrogance is? Arrogance is thinking and believing the story you tell yourself as to why you're not as successful as the person that's getting it done. It's believing a story that you're telling yourself as to why you're not as successful. You're putting your success on someone else. Oh, they're successful, I'm not, because you're not doing it. But you're going to blame them. That's arrogant. To put yourself in that position. And selfish? You know what selfish is? Selfish is not going out and fulfilling your potential greatness for your family, for your purpose, or for your Savior, because you're too scared, you're too violent, and you're too held back to do it. That's selfish. You see, people don't like your success. They don't, in general. They don't like when you do better than they are. Oh, they love it when you're on the come up, on the bottom. People love to root for me when I was living out of the back of my Honda CRV in Chicago. When I was lucky enough to sleep on the couch with a friend. They loved me when I was that person. When I had to eat day-old donuts and expired milk from 7-Eleven as my pre-workout for my workouts. I threw up some of that milk and donuts several times because the milk was a little too stale. And they were behind me when I was eating the 99-cent chicken from Aldi. It was a day away from expiring, and the ramen noodles for my carbs. They loved it when I was that person. That dude, I love Lou, was a great guy. You start getting more successful though, and you pass them up. They'll always find a way to attack you. They always find a way. Even when they can't attack your success, they find a way to attack you. Where's my guys in the back? Miguel, Sean, Dreads. Number one thing I'm attacked for is my dreads. You want to hear the story? Yeah. All right. Number one thing I get accused of, I can post about anything online. I can post about how I like roses. I can post about anything. I don't like avenues, whatever it is. There's someone that comes on there. What you talking about? You Rasta active, you think you're Rasta? Shit, you're not Rasta. You're racially appropriating. You ever look that word up? You know what that means? You're racially appropriating stuff? Racially appropriating? Does any of this look Rasta to you? Does it? None of it does. In fact, Rastafarian culture started in the 1930s. My culture, Celtic, Scandinavian, and Germanic, started thousands of years ago, where in Roman literature, they were cited wearing dreadlocks. These are the mental adornments that my people wore. So who appropriated who? But I don't really bring that up because we're talking about our hairstyle. It's ridiculous. But they're going to find something to attack you on. Anything they can. Everybody loves someone when they're less than they are, right? Not many people celebrate your success. There's exceptions. Obviously, usually it's the same people who have a lot of success. Me? I jump for joy when I see other people make it. Oh my gosh, you kidding me? That means that there's an avenue open. Now who's getting $100 million? Now I see $100 million. I see Dr. Matt with his fancy new house. You guys see his house? Oh, yeah. Whoa, man, there's like little jumping beans inside me going crazy. I can't even have a house like that. Now, I'm not trying to belittle Dr. Matt. I know he's a hard worker, he's a stout man of faith. But we live by faith, not by sight. But when we see faith, what a confirmation! That's the first verse I read when I was saved. 2 Corinthians 5:7. We walk in faith, not by sight. It's tattooed my arm right there. I also have no weapon formed right here. So those are a little bit, but so people don't like to see you succeed. They just don't. It exposes their failures, their lack of faith, their lack of work, their lack of obsession to excellence. That's why those other gyms, that's why the one reason I was getting calls and people coming to me, a lot of gyms were calling in on me. Every time the inspector came by to see them, they showed me little IG videos of my gym open, no one wearing masks inside. Right? There's no one reason. The haters hate on me. The thing about haters is, they're everywhere, right? They've been here since the dawn of time, before we were born. They'll be here after we're gone, still living in their miserable pool of hatred. But it's just noise, right? They're just a crowd. They aren't even in the game. They're not in the game. Who cares what the people sitting on bleachers think? What is that? The man in the arena? They are on the floor. They're not putting in work. They're not putting in faith. They're not leaning in. So that's why haters just going to hate. Well, they're already gone. They're already left. That's my 4 points. I just want to try and tie it all together. You've heard my story. You've heard some of my words. And I can leave something with you, in parting. I want to leave the biggest takeaway I can think of. And it starts and it ends with Jesus. I've always said that Jesus plus nothing will save everything. And before 2016, I think you're crazy for saying that. I think I was crazy for saying that. But you know what? I remember sitting on a grocery store floor at 11:30 o'clock at night. I wasn't suicidal. I sat down. I was just so apathetic I didn't care anymore. The world could end and I wouldn't care. I just didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know how I could be a successful person, how I could provide for Sabrina. What was I going to do? I didn't know. I didn't know God. I didn't know faith. And I was just sitting there thinking, how am I gonna face my life? I was apathetic. Now look at me. And I completely stopped believing in coincidence and know that's God that makes everything happen. Whether it's the green light I'm going to work, the open parking spot out front, or whether it's someone who saw an Instagram video that you put up about when people lost their jobs to the mandates, you said we'll give you a free gym membership. And someone saw that video, sold by the name of Dan Blazarian, and they sent you $10,000 to help you out. I went from not believing in tithing to believing it that when I leaned into vision builders, the amount I gave was a certain amount, I'll tell you in a second. But since I gave pledged that amount, I've had 2 companies. Ronin Factory gave me $10,000, and Dan Blazarian gave me $10,000, which was the exact amount that I had pledged to vision builders. Now, God doesn't tell you to lean in. I don't know what he's telling you, right? Just remember that it happens on his time. You're going to go through hard times. Don't get down on yourself because you're getting there. You're getting stronger from your failures. Your excellence is being nourished. And God is getting you ready for something better. Look, God's getting you ready. So if you're going through hard times, God wants you to lean into him. He wants you to go hard to him. Because he's got something better. But if you can't handle the times you're going through, without going to God, without leaning on him 100%, he knows you're never going to be ready for what he has for you here, because it's so much harder to need him so much more. So if you don't need him here, you'll never get here. If you don't need him here, you'll never get here. You know, the hardest part about what you're doing is not going to be your work you put in. It's not going to be the time. It's not going to be your devotion, your dedication, the long hours. The hardest part that I've ever experienced, and I think is the hardest part of everything, is living and believing in the gospel of God and living in his word. You have to have faith and believe in God that he will and always does have your back. Thank you.
Wow. You are the best. Incredible. Well, I'm going to move this off to the side because I'm shorter and people won't be able to see my face. But I would love for you to stay up here. We're going to do some Q&A. Are you cool with that? Great. So if you guys have questions, there's either pieces of paper on your seat or you can rip it out of your notebook. I'm going to have the beautiful Christy and Bliss. Bliss is single. I'm taking applications. They're going to collect your questions. So I don't even know where to start. I'm so blown away. So blown away. Thanks, guys. All right, let's sit down. Here we go. Let's get into it. All right. So I had some of our leadership give us some questions. So we'll start with this. Well, everybody, I should have like 5 million questions, and if I don't, you guys can leave. So I'm just kidding. Don't leave. We still love you. That's bad. Sorry, Melissa. So the last 2 years, you pretty much have been through hell, right? A lot. You had to fight a lot, and I would love to know. God, there's so much to ask. I would love to know what kept you going. I know you have your faith, and I know you have this fight inside of you, but what kept that going? Because you could easily said, you know what, this is too hard. You're threatening my family. I'm out.
Yeah, so, outside of my faith was obviously my driving force, but outside of that, I knew the people. I knew the people that they relied on my gym. There's different levels to this pandemic. So the first level was the businesses, right? So I was doing it for business owners. I knew people that are looking to me for leadership. But if I close down, all these businesses are going to lose hope. My members are going to lose hope. And then there's the next level of the mandates and the kids wearing masks and stuff. And so I attacked that one. And if I back down on that, then these people, they don't have anyone there. So it was the people I knew I got to meet firsthand, hear their stories, and it's very personal. I took it personal.
Yeah.
It's a personal attack. It was my personal relationships I had with these people.
Yeah, you just had a burning for them, right? Justice is incredible. So you talked about in the beginning how bringing excellence, there was a lot of intentionality in the culture in your gym that you made. Tell me about your process through what you did to be intentional, how you did it, where you got the vision, just in putting your culture and atmosphere in your business to make you so different.
So, in visiting a lot of gyms, you see a lot of faults. You see a lot of the things people have. You see the clicks, and I don't want my gym to be clicky. And I realize it really flows from the owner. I've only been in one gym where the owner was super cool, and his gym wasn't like that, because people kind of followed the owner's vibe. So I knew I had to kind of set the tone myself, and I had to be very, very kind of stringent on what the atmosphere was. And I knew there's certain things that just wouldn't work out. Certain things, allowing any personal trainer to train there. I bet the trainers, so we wouldn't have clicks. I wouldn't have certain teams come in there that I knew would be bad. I wouldn't have, and certainly the equipment. I visited these gyms and saw stuff that was super unique to that one gym, way maybe far out in New York or maybe somewhere buried in Florida. They had a certain piece, and I make sure I get those pieces from my gym that made it different. So people are like, where does this even come from? What kind of machine is this? A lot of people have stuff, they don't even know what some of our stuff does. They have to get shown what it does. And all those aspects I said, it's over time, right? So I had a lot of random skills I developed. And I thought, man, all these random skills. They weren't random because it was God getting me ready for this point. I feel like God was getting me ready for this battle.
Come on.
20 years ago.
Wow.
You know, He put me in law school not so I'd be a practicing lawyer because I had a legal background. He taught me how to do this programming languages so I'd be able to put a website up, how I'd be able to film videos. He taught me how to talk and articulate, be on a microphone interviewing people so I'd handle the news interviews. And he taught me how to write so I could write articles, so I could write speeches, so I could deliver before the board of supervisors.
Wow.
All these things, these skills that seem random, they clicked in place.
Wow, that's so you said you vet all of your trainers, right? So can you tell me, with all the staff, how do you ensure that they uphold the level of excellence that you want to see in your gym?
That's one of the things you have to kind of keep an eye on. We've had to get rid of a few trainers that kind of didn't really hold up with what we did. They weren't part of our standard. They were just kind of they were cancer. Wow. They were bringing the atmosphere down, membership would drop, and we had to cut loose a number of people. And with staffing, it's pretty much, everyone has a pretty decent attitude. It's just sometimes there's a bar.
Right.
I don't set my bar high. But if you go below that bar, you got to go.
Wow. What does Colin say? Slow to hire, quick to fire. Yeah. I feel like you and Colin are going to be best friends. So tell me some of the things that, about your fight for, when you stepped into this fight for freedom, right? Did a lot of people know that you had a legal background when you stepped in? I bet you that's a really interesting story, right?
So I don't ever tell anyone that, and I do it on purpose because I feel it's an advantage. When people start quoting law or telling me about what constitutional rights you have, and I'm like, oh yeah, so this guy from Google.com trying to talk to you about Constitution. Let's bring up some case law. You know about case law? Yeah. But yeah, so I usually don't tell people. When I do tell them, it definitely sends them back a bit because now they realize they're outmatched.
That's great. So we only have a few more minutes left. So is there anything that you want people to take home, that if you had to give one last thing to them?
I hate hammering faith. I hate keep going back to it because it's not tangible. But that's the whole point.
Right.
It's not tangible. It's something that you have or you don't. And I can't stress it enough. There's been times I've been sitting in my office and I'm like, oh man, God, we're down on memberships. God, I know you got my back. I know, you said you're here knocking my door. And I turn around and the guy's like, hey, me and my wife are just in town. We want to sign up for membership.
Wow.
And I'm like, God, really? Like right now? Can't wait to finish my prayer. But that's how God works for me. That's how God works for me. Like I lean in and I give in. And so when we opened our gym, right, there's a time when, I have a second here.
Yeah.
There's a time when we weren't going to get our permits done on time. And we were going to have to completely go bankrupt. So I remember laying down face first on my floor. And I said, God, this is it. We're at a point right now. And if you want me to be a guy on the street, wearing a garbage bag, holding a sign that says Jesus is life, I'll do it. Just tell me that's what you want. But I really think this plan I got will work a lot better for you and me. And within a week, our permits got approved, which they were supposed to take 2 more months. Permits got approved. We had a contractor coming out of the blue and said he'll do it for exactly the amount of money we had to do it for. And we got open a month earlier before the deadline was before we got open.
Come on. Favorite quick, right?
I say faith. Like you say, there's hard work behind it. It's not just face after figure you're there, but it's faith. And you push in, and God's got their hand behind your back.
Yeah. I think a lot of times we look at highlight reels. I love that you dipped into your story because I think a lot of times we're looking on Instagram, right? And you're seeing this success and that. But the journey behind it is so important, right? Right? So I have one last question. I would like to know whose biceps are bigger, yours or JD's? I feel like you need to go on stage. Come on, JD. We're allowed to have fun. Come on, JD. Come up here.
guy's a beast.
Let's see.
Whose legs are bigger?
Oh. Well, he wears the skinny jeans to show the legs off.
No, he's got these little hooks on here.
Oh, thanks, Judy. We can have fun here, right? That's part of our church is. Can you tell me how you came to Awaken?
Yeah, so it was Steve Weatherford. He sent me a text message out of the blue. He's like, hey, God put it on me to tell you about this men's prayer. I think you'd really like it. And I was like, But I had some bad experience with churches. Yeah, they're very preachy, judgy, la la la. And so, Steve asked me, so I said, I'll go. Right? I'll go. I get up anyway at 5 a.m. to go into the gym, so I'll just go to this thing. And I went there, and Dr. Matt was the guy. I remember he's up there, he's like, just like fired up, Holy Spirit. I was like, oh. And I think one got me, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. He was up there, he's just, the Holy Spirit as well. And I said, wow, man, this is pretty cool. Maybe I'll try it. I'll come back this week. And I did, and I kind of stuck around for a little bit.
What I love, the common thread that you have with our pastors and all that stuff is that you guys are there for the fight, right? I think all of us are in this room, whether you're new or not, that some people came just because we were the only open church, right? And you were the only open gym, and I just love that partnership came together. And I'm so grateful that you're here today. And I'm going to actually see if Melissa would love to come up and pray us out. But can we give it up to Lou? Come on, guys. What an incredible story, incredible night.
Thank you for that. I think you not only gave something to us, you put something in us. And we are forever grateful for what you just imparted and for your beautiful family. So let's pray first here, and then we'll just close out the night really quick. Father God, we thank you. God, we thank you for a courageous faith. God, we thank you that he has not even begun to see the levels that you are going to take him to. And what I just see, I just have this vision of you and your family just in this escalator, and you've gone up and up and up and up and up and up. And what I'm telling you is it's just an upward trajectory from here. You haven't even begun to imagine the levels that God has for you, the global level that God has for your influence, your heart for people. What you said is on the other side of your winning was helping other people. And God sees that in you. And I see God taking you like in this escalator, and then you guys walk into this elevator. It's like glass elevator that just takes you guys up, 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 up. Father God, I thank you for the courage in this man. God, I thank you for bringing him to our Awakened family. I thank you for what you are going to do even in the next 2 months. I see something even in the next 2 months for you that you had no idea was coming. But because you have that spirit to grab on and believe and say, I know this is God, the discernment to say, this is from you, God, you're going to grab it, and it's going to take you up higher. God, we cover them. We continue to cover them as we know there's still heat being thrown at our church. There's got to still be heat thrown in their direction. We cover them right now. We say, we are here for you. You have the full support of Awaken. You have the full support of Awaken Pathfinders. You have an army next to you, in front of you, and behind you for where God is taking you. In Jesus' name, amen.